We are in the east of the beautiful island of Crete. We are going to Zakros, the so-called Minoan Palace of Zakros. Minoans are from the Bronze Age. At that distant time, this place, together with the entire Minoan civilization in the eastern Mediterranean, reached its peak. The objects exhibited in the Archaeological Museum in Heraklion are works of applied art. Archaeologists are still discovering the remains of that rich culture. Hi.
Hi,
Justyna.
Kuba.
We are from Poland and we travel around Europe in search of our prehistory and search for roots of our European culture and in search for interesting, inspirational places and ideas. Now we are in Crete, in Minoan Palace, Zakros. And at first we are beginning from our breakfast now. So today we are having breakfast in a place that helped create the splendor of Minoan culture. On the map of Eastern Crete, this place is here. And on the plan it looks like this. Minoan Palace of Zakros, the town. We are entering the Palace of Zakros, but now we are in the place where the production of perfume were in Minoan times. In this workshop area, here and here, it's identified after findings here. So, on our both sides are workshops, storerooms, shrines, and in front of us, and we go here. We are going here, it is central court, like in other such structures. For example, Knossos, Phaistos and Malia. You have videos about those complexes in our channel and they are linked below in the description.
First idea.
They weren't palaces.
Because I think it's rather obvious big man, king or chiefs rooms or place in palace. Okay, nobody can find such place in
Knossos, Phaistos, Malia,
so-called
Zakros,
palaces
and so on.
and so on. Perhaps it's more culture and economic center of Minoan people, Minoan civilizations.
Zakros and similar complexes were built about 4,000 years ago, and about 1,650 years before Christ, a huge catastrophe,
Supposed
earthquake, destroyed everything, and on the basements, foundations of the old palaces were built so-called new palaces. And in Zakros we can visit, which is obvious, new palace. Remains of new palace rebuilt after this catastrophe.
And Zakros is a special place because it's near the harbor. It's strictly connected with overseas trade.
For example, with Egypt and Hittite kingdom.
For example.
Now we are going to the port. Around us is a Minoan town.
Minoan town, port town, with workshops, magazines,
Shrines, of course.
Shrines.
Storerooms. Behind us is bronze smelting kiln.
What is special in Zakros localization? A port town sited in place hatched by chain of hills, open for sea, and a main, I think, port road leading to the bay. Port road leads between storage rooms, workshops, magazines, and so on. Do you know what is funny? It's a free day today on all museums in Knossos, in Crete. And in that free day we are completely alone on that settlement. All palace for us. And for you, of course. It's an experience like in Knossos during COVID, when we were.
From the street, let's enter, for example, to one of the houses. One room, another rooms. Stairs to the first floor and a bench. In other little room. Let's go further. Of course, the street.
I hope you can feel the same that we are between nearly 4,000 years walls in someone's home, I believe. It's a historic staircase, now leading to nowhere. But nearly 4,000 years ago, I hope it was way to next floor with beautiful view on hills and on sea. Next nice corner, a bench. Maybe it's garden in the middle of the house.
From the Minoan town is excellent view for the Minoan Zakros Palace, so-called palace. Let's go there. Behind me is a Minoan town. We are in the northern part of the complex, and here is Megaron of the Queen, so-called Megaron of the Queen. They are classical names after the names in Knossos. And this is the lustral basin in the Queen's Megaron. In the past, at the beginning of research on these Bronze Age sites, it was thought that these basins were filled with water and were used for washing, sometimes ritual. In a case like this, when this lustral basin is located next to the space assigned to the Queen, it would simply be a bathtub. Today, researchers note that filling a depression with water without a drain and additionally with gypsum plaster would produce stale water with an unpleasant smell, especially in the heat. Today, researchers say about some sacred ritual space, maybe at Temenos. In the east side of the complex is so-called Hall of the Cistern, Hall of Cisterns. One cistern, it's circular, it has paved floor and walls with hydraulic mortar. It was used to it was the container for water to the palace. And oh, okay, it was roofed. Now turtles live here, like in other wells in this complex. Now I'm in Queen's Megaron, in the east wing. Here in the northern part is Queen's Megaron, and behind me the cistern, King's Megaron. So called. Classical names, but probably there wasn't any king. And here in the east wing, near the circular well, is rectangular well. It's characteristic by the source of water under the ground, which gives the water to this well. And now, of course, here are turtles, and they want to something from me, maybe a piece of bread, a piece of something very good for turtles. Hello! Hello, a small guy. It's very interested. Another water container in the east wing. In one of these containers were found some offerings, and among them olives with preserved skins. They were preserved for some 1,000 years. Central court, like in other Minoan complexes, and altar, like in Malia. Now let's go for a moment to northern part of the palace, because here is maybe a kitchen and dining room. Here is the so-called kitchen. I'm in the kitchen. The name is due to findings of many birds and animal bones and cooking devices with the rest of food. And near the kitchen was the room with a lot of dishes. The kitchen and dishes are near the so-called Queen's Megaron. But there wasn't probably any queen, for sure any queen, because these places weren't the places where big men or big women lived. So let's go to western part.
Let's try to feel like Minoan man, walking through so-called palace, crossing the door, and view see from window on chain of hills.
Near the central core is the so-called Hall of Ceremonies. We don't know what they were doing here. The name is only the name, but look at the rest of colonnade and Minoan pavement. West wing, maybe shrine with benches. Benches are very typical for Minoan shrines. So this place was called shrine. Maybe it was shrine, maybe not. Maybe it was bench for rest. And here, another room, another place is, we can see on the in description on the table with description that is archive room, but I know the explanation, maybe other explanation, maybe better, I don't know, that this place is for coloring fabric, working space, and those containers are basins with colored water. And near this window, this mentioned window, we finish our story about complex in Zakros. Do you want to add something? Oh, I want to add something.
And a word about water in so-called palace. We showed you water containers in East Wing, and now in West, sewage system, remains of sewage system.
Continuing our way to the exit, one more interesting thing, some findings. Here in the West Wing, in some spaces, were found. Let's start with a beautiful rhyton made of rock crystal. The ovoid body is made from a single core of one crystal. The neck, produced from another crystal, is attached to the body by a ring of crystal beads and gilded ivory discs. The handle consists of spherical crystal beads threaded onto a bronze wire. Another rhyton found in Zakros is also special. It is made of chlorite and has traces of gilding on it. And the most interesting thing is that it depicts Peak Sanctuary in a rocky landscape with wild goats. Its stepped walls are decorated by horns of consecrations. Also look at one of the elephant tusks from overseas lands and some small ivory items, labrises and a beautiful tiny butterfly. This conical cup is also interesting due to the astral symbols placed on it, crescent moon and solar disk. And look at this fantastic amphora made of marble. The artisan used the natural pattern on the stone to make more attractive the already beautiful vessel. Also note these ceramic vessels from Zakros. Their decorations, mainly marine motifs, are fantastic. In the end, some bronze objects, ornamented double axe, swords, and some other things. Back at the Zakros archaeological site, a few more details. It was quite an interesting wall construction. And another fragment of the wall. This is the entrance, I guess. really nicely finished. So maybe now it's time to say goodbye. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe to not miss the next films, next videos, and bye bye.
Bye.
One moment, don't leave yet, because here is very old olive tree. Beautiful and very old olive tree. The Crete is the place where the first olive trees were cultivated. Some researchers say that Minoan civilization began due to olive trees. Olive trees grow for a very long time. The oldest known alive olive tree is in Portugal. It is over 3,000 years old. And finally, coffee in the company of an internet celebrity. That is simply a cut.